Welcome to the Smooth Money Game podcast with my main man, Jared Smith, and me, John Dollar Bill.
Today we'll be getting into, is Russell Wilson struggling because of the bad coaching in Denver, or is he just a system quarterback? What do you think, Dad?
Man, first of all, my man Russell Wilson has showed me enough, even back in Wisconsin, when he was at the University of Wisconsin, to show that he's a baller. He's a smart player. Unfortunately, when you don't have the right team for the way you play, it can affect you very much. And if you don't have the talent around you, that can be caustic too. Now, I'm not saying that the people around him are not talented, but they may not be able to play that brand of ball. And so the chemistry's not there. So I think you have to blame it on the offensive coordinator at the least. What do you think, man?
I think that quarterback play around the league hasn't been as good as we've seen in the past because of a limited preseason. I think with them adding that extra regular season game, a lot of teams have elected to not play their players in preseason. And I think the chemistry has been a problem, especially for players going to new teams. And I think Russell Wilson has been affected by that. I think he needed more off-season reps with his new team. It's hard to accept the fact that Russell Wilson is struggling, considering that, with Seattle, he played behind bad offensive lines. He played with teams where, the receivers weren't established yet, and he was always able to produce. So it's kind of puzzling to see them play so bad. I wonder if, he's also dealing with injuries that he's not discussing, but I feel like he's not being used right. It kind of reminds me of when, if you watch Winning Time and they talk about Magic Johnson in that second year with Paul Westhead didn't allow him to play his game and he kept looking over his shoulder. I feel like Russell Wilson is probably doing that right now. He's not playing like the Russell Wilson that we normally know, but I look for him to the second half of the season. I think Russell Wilson reverts to his old form, and I think that it's possible that Denver could still be a team that makes the second half push to get in the playoffs. With that extra game, you can now go 9-8 and make it to the playoffs, and football is all about catching a drift at the right time, and you can win a Super Bowl. So I think they have a good chance, in the second half to turn things around. Denver's pretty talented.
I think so too. I think once they get their feet under them, once they get the chemistry going, and the most I could say is Russell Wilson is a very patient quarterback.
Yeah. So then I got moving on from that. Brett, do you feel like the media has been protecting Brett Favre from the type of backlash he should be receiving, considering that he stole funds from one of the poor states' welfare?
Well, he's being protected just like they protect ex-president that we all know. Yes, he's being protected. The establishment is behind him. They're willing to sweep it under the table. He went on Fox and said that he did nothing wrong. And when the major question he asked the people giving him the money, would the media be able to find out about it? So something's fishy about that situation. And if it had been somebody else, it would have totally got out. If it had been Donovan McNabb or somebody like that, it would have been out bigger than Draymond Green stuff is out right now. So yes, the story is true, I believe, and he should be sitting down for a while for what he did. What do you think?
I think He's definitely being protective. This is one of the most disgraceful things I've ever heard. You know, you're stealing from one of the poorest countries, poorest cities, poorest states in the United States, Mississippi. That's just sad. That this isn't getting more coverage, and it's sad that he probably won't even spend a day in jail. He probably won't even get a misdemeanor. Right now, it's in civil court, so this is not even a big deal. Brett Favre, I think, is worth $100 million, and being worth $100 million, you took $5 million from welfare recipients. It's despicable. It would be one thing, maybe if he took the $5 million and then paid it back, maybe because, there's been, occasions where people have took public funds and paid it back to make deals happen. I know that happens all the time, as little as it's reported, but it's clear that, he was doing something fishy by the way the text messages read. It's like, it's shown before that, some of these athletes that have the, right backing and the right, type of environment, kind of like a Donald Trump environment, they get away with things like this. But this is despicable. He's stealing from the poorest people in the country, and the poor state, and all for a volleyball stadium. It's not even something that's that big of a deal, but he's stealing from it just to put money into a volleyball stadium when he could have done it himself with his net worth. This is just terrible. I think I want to shout out Shannon Sharp for being one of the only people to really be on him for what he's done. He's called out Brett Favre for being a lowlife, basically. This isn't the first time that he's had allegations against him that are pretty negative. I think he also had a sexual assault or sexual harassment charge on him with the New York Jets, but because he was able to sling a football and he was entertaining, he's been protected. But at certain points, you gotta take these people down, like the Harvey Weinsteins, the R. Kellys, the people who have been skirting the line for so many years, but haven't actually paid the cost for the wrongs that they're committing. I feel like he needs to be serving some jail time for stealing from the welfare, but we all know that probably isn't going to happen.
One of the things I want to say is I'll be satisfied when I'm driving down the street and I see more people like him on the side of the street picking up trash the same way they do trash. They're trash people, and I want to see them on the side of the road picking up trash. That's all I got to say about that. You're a criminal. Get ready to wear your orange, your black and white suit, man.
Now I wonder if you were starting an all pro jail team of people who committed crimes, is Brett Favre your starting quarterback?
He's my starting quarterback. Donald Trump is the coach, and Herschel Walker is the running back. Get all them clowns together on the same team. Yeah.
Candace.
And I, you know who the referee is? Kanye West. I put all them clowns together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cheerleader, he better mess around. The cheerleader would be somebody like my man Noriega on the Drink Champs, because you got to be your own man. You can't allow people like that. I don't care what they did for you in the past. You don't allow them to destroy your career over some stupidity. You knew what he was going to come on and say you were just a little drunk, and you thought that you would get even better ratings, and that's all you were looking at over your own people. So You need to think a little more before you do that, and you can't hide behind nothing with it. I still watch you for now, man. I still watch your show for now. But you keep on moving like that, it's going to be hard to come back from.
So you're saying if you had the opportunity to interview Kanye West, you wouldn't take it?
It's not that I wouldn't take the interview, it's how I would go about the interview. I wouldn't allow somebody to disgrace our race just for dollars, meaning that I would expose his ignorance. That would be my take on it. I wouldn't laugh with him and act like everything was hunky-dory. He did nothing wrong with taking the interview. What he did wrong is placated him, or at least gave him the platform to continue his nonsense.
Moving on from that, what do you think the Lakers are going to be able to do this year? Do you think they're a legitimate playoff team, or do you think this is another season of disaster?
Yeah, man, I think it's as the world turns. With LeBron, anything is possible until he shows me different. He doesn't really look like he's slowing down that much. If it depends on the brand of ball they play. Will they play the brand of ball that Russell wants to play, or will they play the team brand of ball? It depends. You know, LeBron is challenged this season. Usually when he's challenged, you know, he comes out a beast. But what will Russell bring to the team this season? What will some of the others bring to the team this season? LeBron can't do it himself. What do you think?
I think this is going to be a disaster season for the Lakers. This is one of the worst built teams that I've ever seen. You know, surrounding your superstars. Like, this is one of the only teams in the NBA right now that literally has no shooting. I mean, LeBron James is the best three-point shooter on the Lakers right now. Not to say he's a bad three-point shooter, but normally your best three-point shooters are 38% or above, but he's around 35, 36, which is he's more of a scorer type three-point shooter, a guy who can get it in rhythm and get hot. But that's not the person you'd want to be your number one shooter. And the Lakers haven't surrounded him and Anthony Davis with shooters historically, and it doesn't look like they're going to be really great defensively they have a lot of point guards with not a lot of shooters, which normally doesn't mix with a team like this. If you look at the Mavericks, they got a lot of shooters with Luka Doncic. If you look at the Warriors, they got a lot of shooters. Every team has shooters besides the Lakers. I don't see their team making the playoffs this year, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we've had another week to sit back and think about it. Tell me what your thought is about the Draymond Green situation. Let's go over that for a few seconds. The Poole and Draymond Green situation. What do you think about that after sitting back for a week?
Social media overblows everything. Like, they fought, like, everybody, grown men who fought growing up. Like, I still remember the days in elementary school where you could fight and not even get sent to the principal's office. Like, everybody acts like they're like, you know, the music is geared to, like, if somebody disrespects you, you're going to kill them. So now everybody's like, they would have did it to me, they would have did X, Y, Z. Obviously Jordan Poole, like, hasn't been in too many fights the way he reacted, but I mean, if you're a competitor, you're trying to fight him again. That's period. But at the end of the day, it's not as big as social media makes everything. Like, they got in a fight, so what?
I feel the same way. You know, back in the day, everybody fought. You know, or they intimidated somebody by throwing something up against the locker, or making people think they were crazier than they were, just to get a competitive edge, you know, in the locker room, on the floor and everything. Don't mess with him. He's crazy. but